right. Let's make sure we get up and stream in here. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. I'm Chris Goglin, and I'm going to be streaming today's game to you. This is our third game during the OCS playoffs. There's 16 games total, assuming everybody plays both sides. Today's game will feature Charlie Arlinson, Carlandson. He is playing Dark Side, and he will be playing Raltier Operations, taking on Ototoi, uh, henceforth will be called Eric Hunter. Eric is playing Old Allies. Thank you all for joining us. If you haven't renewed your subscription or subscribed to our page, be sure to hit the button in the top upper hand corner there. Upper right hand corner it is. Big purple button that says follow and then or subscribe. Ralops, Old Allies. Definitely usually a long, meticulous game. A lot of moving back and forth. Um, the move phase is certainly going to be a very busy phase in this game. There'll be some battles. It's probably going to be more of a battle over space, probably, than a battle over ground sites. And whichever side can kind of clear the other one out and in that theater should then take the advantage. Charlie Starton establish Endor Shield and Arrest Order, so we'll see him get Fondor, maybe an Executor Docking Bay to set up Piet or something at, and Dasan to get some shuttles, to get that threat going of a space presence. And then he'll get his Raltier sites out and try and flip. And Eric started strike planning, typically to get General Leia and General Calrissian. A Brave Resistance, of course, has kind of become a staple in any deck running Resistance characters now because of just how, between the Force activation and the ability to constantly cycle through characters back and in and out of your deck, putting Destiny 5 Roses back, and taking out Solo or Rey or whoever, Leia, Finn, Poe, whoever you happen to need for the situation. And then Walkling, card Eric created, being used by the creator. So let me just refresh the old browser here. Looks like we got about 7 or 8 people watching. Awesome. If you're in the Gem chat following along, let's go full screen here. So we got Silver Glen checking it out, Hayes watching his brother play, and DVP. Not sure whose account that is. Charlie has the domination already. That's certainly going to work in his favor as well. Very powerful. And code clearance. Wow. Okay, that's a really good start. Getting both of those out right away. So domination is the one that, you're probably going to occupy more locations. They'll both have about 4 or 5 in this game. But if you win a battle, retrieve an Imperial, and during battle, if you draw an Imperial, you can take them into hand to redraw it. So typically that'll then trigger the other ability. You take an Imperial into hand that you drew for Destiny, and then swap them with a better one out of your lost pile. We see that frequently happen. And then we've got Code Clearance, which is the one that makes unique Imperials of ability 3 are forfeit +3. So guys like David John and whatnot that are like deploy 4, forfeit 5, suddenly become forfeit 8. Tarkin becomes forfeit 9. Veers, Piet, those guys become forfeit 9, 8, and 9, respectively. So, and there we see Piet hitting the table. So between that and Arrest Order, you get quite a big boost to forfeit values, making it very hard, especially in space, to chew through some of this stuff. You can draw 2 or 3 Destiny against them in space if you manage to get by an Imperial command somehow or something and get 2 Battle Destiny. And you're like, I got 8 in Battle Destiny. And they're like, great, I lose 1 guy. And it's not even like a main character that would forfeit for 8. It's a mediocre character. And as expected, Charlie's going to go Executor Docking Bay with Piet and Dasan. Dasan lets you, during your control phase, you can take a Lambda Shuttle into hand. So that will be used to get the Emperor Shuttle and probably Vader Shuttle as well. Usually it's the non-V Vader Shuttle. because it has a permanent pilot of ability too. So it's very easy to pull that cheaply. And if they have like Tantive here or something, or Falcon takes off and somehow it gets over here, you just throw the shuttle down, block them from controlling the system for a turn, get your 3 sites out, flip, and then you just land the shuttle or move it away. Silver Glenn in the chat now, cheering on his Team 5 teammate, Eric. We'll be seeing Silver Glenn playing next week. He'll be taking on Adam Trunzo. And other OCS playoff competitor, Chris Kelly, also joining us in the chat now. So Eric is going to get General Leia. Oh, he's going to send Leia back. Did he take her into hand? Did he use his strike plannings? I wasn't paying attention. So he rescued early. But no, I didn't see him use his strike planning pulls. He's going to take Poe. So either he already has Lando in hand, or he's just playing a riskier strategy. I would have to assume he's got Lando in hand already. That would be the thing that makes the most sense. And there he is from hand. Yep. So he got the Rey's encampment, put Lando down first, spend 2 force, deploy Rey, use Rey to take a card from the use pile. Now you've got a few more options to choose from. You can take that Leia back that he sent back with the Brave Resistance, get her right back into hand. So then you have either Leia available to you or another. She can cycle for a different character next turn. Rey typically almost always moves over. They get in the Falcon. Falcon takes off to the system, where you've got the drain bonus +1 as well, and Imperial Starships deploy +1 here. Lando forfeits for 7. You've got 7 ability piloting. So a lot of good things going with this setup, which is why it's pretty much, the standard turn 1 formula for old allies. Strike planning for Lando, drop him here, pull the site, pull Rey, take a card, move her over. Maybe you draw the bottom card of your force pile first, maybe hoping to get like another site or something like that if you want extra activation. And then the ship takes off for free. And you're kind of set up here. You've got 9 power, 7 ability. You're adding 1 to your total. With Rey piloting, it's immune to less than 4. And typically Finn is available as a react, deploys for free, adds 3 more power, and 6 more forfeit. So it's a pretty solid thing to try and come after early, and usually why it just gets ignored. Make sure I'm not shouting. I feel like my volume might be a little loud, but all right. So Charlie's got 11 activation this turn. Desan's going to go look for a shuttle, and there are none there. We'll see whether or not that sets him back. He should still be able to flip this turn if he wants to. He's got the street, assuming he didn't activate any of his other locations. Raltier will pull one of the sites. Arrest order will pull the spaceport docking bay, unless he possibly has either of them in hand already. Deploy guys at 2 of the sites, move these guys over to the 3rd site, the docking bay, and then that'll flip the objective, and then he can go get any card he wants out of the 27 choices in his reserve deck. They're probably down to 25 or 26, depending on what locations he has to pull. Now, if he's activated his locations, that could slow him down a little bit, but we see him use an arrest order here. And missed, and just let Eric verify his deck again. Oops. I don't think that's what he meant to do. So not having the docking bay is going to slow him down a little bit. He's got the prefect's office now. Does he have the site in hand? Does he have the Tarkin's bounty to go get the site out of his force pile? Um, if he wanted to flip. Again, not ideal card choices, but flipping certainly helps here. It would obviously make this drain -1, and then give him +2 or 3 to his total battle destiny as well. But that may not be an option for him, and he may have to go to plan B here. Just gonna get some nutrition. Please hold. Charlie's a little puzzled here. He's really taking his time on this one. It's been 2 or 3 minutes now since his last search. Hopefully he didn't disconnect or anything, or doesn't time out here. Jemp does have that 5-minute action timer. If you do not take an action in game within 5 minutes, it automatically times you out, and you lose. All right, he's got an Emperor shuttle. Shuttle's going to Fondor. As far as other space from Eric, other than the Falcon, you're probably going to have a Profundity, possibly a Bright Hope, possibly a Gold Leader and Gold 1. Sometimes there's a Corvette or a Rogue One, because you'll see Radis sometimes with a couple of leaderships, because you're already playing leaderships for General Leia for the ground. So you play Radis as well, and then he can upload either the Lightmaker or the generic Corvette or Rogue One. Most often it's the generic Corvette, just because of the deploy forfeit and the ability to shuttle people up and down. Lightmaker doesn't have any passenger slots, and Rogue One isn't bad, but isn't all that necessary, and there aren't a lot of spies in this deck to take advantage of it. But that's usually it. Usually it's like Profundity, Gold Leader, and 1 or 2 other ships. All right, we got Grand Moff Tarkin V now aboard the Emperor shuttle. Eric pulls the Goldenrod shield, which means the Emperor would cost him 2 force instead of being free. Emperor Palpatine deploys free aboard the shuttle. He also makes it completely immune to attrition and adds a battle destiny. And then with Tarkin, Tarkin adds 1 when he's with an Imperial leader, and then you've got enough ability because you've got 5 ability piloting. So it's 4 power, but it's 3 battle destiny total and completely immune to attrition, which is usually enough to get it out of some tight spots. Rebel leaderships are strong against it. X-Wing cannons are incredibly strong against it because it's only maneuver 3. Most space weapons can hit it, but an X-Wing cannon basically just takes the whole thing right out of play pretty fast. We don't usually see that from old allies. We have seen a few people sneaking in Tarn Mizan and either a quad laser cannon or like I'm trying to think what the other weapon is. One of the other cannons that they'll put on the capitals, and just use that to start taking out stuff like this. A tanked up finalizer with Tarn Mizan makes all the pilots aboard forfeit 0, or all the characters aboard. So that is an alternative package that we saw a little of at the World Championships, but It's not the common package. Two very stereotypical starting turns. Do I normally think Rops is favored here? I kind of think this game is a coin toss. I kind of think it's a 50-50 kind of matchup. And whoever gets, you know, a little bit cleaner of a start, whoever gets maybe a little bit better of a blind draws early on in the game, they're not really gonna they're gonna try to avoid each other for a little while until they both feel confident and both feel set up with what they want to do. But I would expect Old Allies is going to flip here, um, and that's going to start giving them some advantages in terms of subtracting from destinies. Um, Rops not flipping last turn is going to slow them down because now they can't flip until the move phase, likely until the move phase of their following turn, which is one more turn they're not interacting um, with light side, which gives light side one more turn to get themselves stabilized and get set up and get themselves flipped and draw into some of those key interrupts that they need. Things like Rebel Leadership, things like Finn, and I'm getting kind of good at this, or um, punch it, those kinds of things. And the I can handle myself, the female interrupt, those kinds of things, or just generic barriers and stuff too. Concussion missiles. Thank you, Hayes. I couldn't think of the damn card. Concussion missiles. You're watching and could have typed it in the chat, but I appreciate the text message. Hayes is telling me that OA is disadvantaged when they're both flipped. Yeah, I think, well, yeah, because they subtract 2 from one destiny, and ROPS is adding typically 3 to 4 to their total, so they tend to come out a little bit ahead. And with the setup that Charlie has here, with the multiple, forfeit boosts and things like that, I think they're probably going to win some of the trades in terms of the battles. They're going to be like ROPS is going to forfeit one guy. Old Allies might end up forfeiting 2 guys per battle. You'll have Rose to retrieve some of them, Leia to initiate battles to retrieve some of them, but Domination's also retrieving. So this is one of those long, drawn-out games. I'm getting a nice barrage of text messages from Hayes, doing some side commentary. Hayes is telling me that Eric's likely option here, instead of trying to go for the flip, maybe to prevent Rops from flipping, especially now that Tarkin's been committed to the board with the shuttle. That Tarkin is usually more of an offensive strategy with this, and that now the shuttle's probably just going to end up getting ignored for a while. Um, that certainly does seem likely. There's not really much interest in interacting with this. He's got a force saved. That's likely a barrier. You're not going to, may not clear that out. And then he can just draw Destiny in exchange to get the Emperor out of his lost pile, right into hand, to then slap the Emperor right back on the shuttle and some battle somewhere else and exchange a guy to get Tarkin back. This swap text is excessively annoying, especially with Domination also then retrieving Imperials as well. So that is why it has been such a hot button topic on the competitive balance threads, but we're not going to delve down that rabbit hole today. All right, so as suggested, Poe and Dash are going to go try and prevent the ground flip. Charlie's going to need his other 2 sites now if he wants to go that route, unless Eric also blocks this second site here as well. Then he's going to have to find a way to clear one of those sites, assuming he's playing 4. If he's only playing 3 sites, this is going to be a problem for him. It's 8 power, it's immune to less than 5, and it's 2 battle destiny. Yep, he's going to move the Falcon to Ralt here as well. So he's really going to try and slow things down here. This is a non-battleground. He doesn't have Tantive or anything, or R2 to add an icon here. So with battle order out, he would be paying to drain, but at this point, just stopping the flip and slowing the ROPS player down um, certainly seems like the right strategy. And Charlie's going to play a command to try and go get somebody. That seems like that's kind of the card you want to grab in this matchup, but Eric opts not to. He saves 2 force. Instead. Now he's going to use strike planning, get that Leia, take a look at some of the other characters that were in his deck. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric's just taking the Leia back into hand. We're on Charlie's turn. But yeah, he's got Leia now that that's his first pull with her as well. So he still has another strike planning pull, so he can cycle her back next turn to get a different character, get Solo, get Chewie. Charlie's looking for one of his sites now. There's the city. And we'll see if he's got the docking bay in the reserve deck now. Yep, looks like that one's in there too. So he'll get sites 3 and 4 out. So now he's got to control. You have to control 3 routes to your sites. Opponent controls no locations. So he's got to control these 3 and block both of these locations. And the hyperspeed on this, it can make the move. So if he did have another Emperor, you can go free Emperor, move to block, but then you have to get these 3 sites covered, all 4 sites covered really, in order to flip. And that's going to be fairly dangerous. And that's going to leave him a bit exposed. Oh, my phone's going off just fine, Silver Glen. I'm well aware of the 12 text messages I'm getting from my co-commentator here, Mr. Hayes Hunter. That was his second strike planning poll? Okay. You can type all this stuff in the Gemp chat, or the Twitch chat. Obviously, you're watching the game if you're listening to me. I'm sure you're watching on your phone, and it's just easier to do this than type. That was the guy I was thinking of, Lieutenant Commander Arden. He's the one who's ability 3. You don't have a Twitch account. You don't have a Twitch account. All right, so we're going to get some action here. There's the Vader shuttle that he'll use to block. We've got Arden. This is the ability 3 guy I was thinking of, who gets his forfeit bumped up with code clearance to 6. He draws if unable to otherwise. Ozzel's going to block here. He can put anybody down here. These guys docking bay transit over. He flips. And then the shuttle can land or the shuttle can move away. Yeah. But he flips back if they control 2 route to your location. So he's going to have to cover up both sites. At least one of them. He's going to have to pretty much stay at all 4 ground sites to keep himself from getting flipped back. Hayes, I'm going to make you a Twitch account. I'm just going to use your email address, and I'm just going to create you a Twitch account. And then you can link it to your Amazon Prime to get a free Prime subscription, and then you can start subscribing to the PC channel, and then you'll get all the kinds of updates, and you'll help contribute to our tournament funds. All right. You can tell me you don't have Twitch Prime either. You're already Smile associated. Well, that's a good step. We like getting the pennies from Amazon Smile every time you buy stuff on Amazon. All right, so we got Thrawn V. This is the one that lets people move around as a react or follow when they move away. Follow rebels, just like in the TV show. He's going to go get any card here. We're in move phase because he documented transited these guys over. It's going to be curious as to whether he just hangs Ozzel out to dry and then that does, kicks it, but that doesn't really seem like that's going to get him very far. He's going to need something else here. And Silver Glen, you are an excellent lackey. So I'm sure you're in the Team 5 chat. You guys got your own thoughts and theories going on about how this game's going to play out. All right, so he does move Thrawn over to back up Ozzel. And then are we going to see him move the Emperor shuttle to Raltier to back up Vader shuttle? Because otherwise, this is just going to move over here next turn. If the shuttle moves away or lands or anything, then he's got one, and he just moves this over here to flip back, or deploys anybody over here and flips him right back. So I think he's going to have to move the Emperor shuttle to Raltier. Otherwise, this was just, he moves away now. See, he's just going to get flipped back next turn then. He's going to consolidate the two ships at Jakku. It's an interesting strategy line. Now, obviously, with battle order out, this is just drain a 1. Eric's not going to pay for that. But he very easily could just deploy someone here, flip this back, and then go battle wherever he wants. He could battle with this. He's immune to less than 5, and if he's not adding to the battle destiny, to the total. Rops does have some decent high destiny cards, but I have a feeling this wouldn't be battling alone. There might be something else coming down with it, like Leia, like Chewie, and Solo. So this is actually a pretty good spot here for Eric coming up for this turn here. Alright, so Leia is going used. And he's going to go find another character. I highly suspect Eric will deploy somebody here, flip back, deploy somebody here, battle, clear these two guys. You've got 7 and 6 for forfeit, so you just need 2 destiny to be greater than 8. And if one of those guys is Chewie and he hits Ozzel, well, then you guarantee you're clearing both. Other option is he just moves this away, flips back, and chases stuff down over here. Or he's got a lot of different options here right now. It's going to depend on what's in his hand and what he has to work with. I'd assume he's got 3 or 4 characters in his hand, so he could possibly battle in multiple spots. Try and do some damage, try and draw out the Gick. Maybe that's the card he was saving the grabber for. He's going to try and grab the Gick, and then make it harder for Charlie to spread and cover multiple locations. That would make sense why he didn't grab the command. That's what he wants to grab instead, to keep Ral Ops from exchanging to keep getting it back. My co-host does point out that yes, he can command with Thrawn, because this Thrawn on the ground, he functions as a general, so you can use it on the ground with him. It's true, he could certainly limit him to just one battle destiny here. He does take Chewie though, so one battle destiny would be enough. You can't miss Ozzel, right? I don't think he's got two locations left in his deck, and certainly there's not a lot of Destiny 1 characters either. Um, yeah, he pulls the location from reserve deck, so he's probably about it for locations for the old Allies deck. These three, four. Might have one more in there, but I doubt it. There's Solo for the flip back. Charlie's got to put a card from hand down. I'm sure he saw that coming and had that card ready to go. I'm sure he'll pick something fairly high destiny, though, because he's activating 20, so if he puts back like a nice 5 or 6, he should have the ability to get to it. And there's a second Leia. Alright, so we had 2 Leias. He cycled one back, got a better character. Now he'll drop Leia and just battle. No secret plans out, so he gets to retrieve his starting interrupt for free. And then he's going to pull aim high to try and stop the domination, possibly. So what do we got? 12 and 2. Does Charlie have the other command? If he's got the command, he can keep one of these guys alive. But it doesn't look like he's got it, unless he's thinking about it. But doesn't. Yep, no command. It's got to be 3 or less, otherwise both guys are dying. Wow. All right, so there's one of the few ones remaining in the deck. And depending on what he's drawn here, Ozzel, he draws a 2. He can domination that because he's got more battlegrounds to take that into hand. And we'll read the Death Trooper in a second because he's got some interesting texts that works with Thrawn and Tarkin and Krennic. So he gets a 3, which both of these things are immune to. Leia's immune to less than 4. He's got 5 attrition, 7 battle damage. He chooses to lose Thrawn to cover all 7, and did not exchange a card either. I would have thought he might have just popped Ozzel for 6 and lost a card to keep Thrawn, because the Death Trooper here has some interesting text. Where did he go? While you have no other troopers, adds a battle destiny at same site as Krennic, Tarkin, or Thrawn. And you can put him in the use pile to cancel a weapon destiny. So you just took that guy into hand. If you had Thrawn still here, you drop him down. And you're in a better spot in terms of battling. But maybe not. Maybe he's got a different play in mind. Thank God I have unlimited text messages. And then the Falcon moves away from Raltier to Jakku. And Eric's sitting on an 11 card hand now. So we'd expect Finn and some type of other defensive card, because otherwise this looks pretty ripe for for drop Emperor, battle 3 destiny, kind of clear out a big chunk of this stuff with the Falcon. But I don't think I mean, obviously he's got 2 force left. He could have a barrier or something, or Finn and a defensive interrupt. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense for him to move over. He will get drains a 1 and 1. Will Charlie here? We see Radis go off the top and Wedge go off the top. So 2 characters, 2 pilots. I'll do my sponsor plug, since Hayes, one of his many text messages, what were you eating? I was eating a Think bar. They are great protein bars. They are gluten-free, and they have a pretty low sugar content, so they don't have that blood sugar spike that you see with a lot of other protein bars. 20 grams of protein per bar. Good, healthy nutrition. All right, he's got Mara coming down, and the second domination. Mara gets barriered. The question is, was Mara the real threat, or was Mara the bluff threat? Drop her down, force him to barrier here, so then he can go to either of these other 2 locations a little bit more freely. There's the Emperor. No surprise there. And let's see what else he's got to back that up. Oh, Kyrkanos. That's a big one. In battle with an Imperial, once per game, cancel a non-immune to sense interrupt. That will cancel the aforementioned punch it, or I'm getting kind of good at this, Destiny adder cards. No Admiral here means no leadership to limit, but that could also cancel the leadership. It can also cancel the, some people play Dark Lighter Spin, all wings combo. Unlikely we'd see that in this battle, but if Solo or somebody else were up here and you were limited to 1 by them playing a command or something, that would be the way around that. Not every old Allies deck runs that anymore, but being able to cancel the punch it could be pretty important. Or I'm getting kind of good at this. Be interesting to see if Charlie has a sense floating around as well to sense the Finn react. That could also be pretty important. You don't see sense a lot in Ralops. There usually isn't a whole lot of room to fit it in most builds because of the 20 plus ground characters you're running, but if you can sneak 1 in just for certain key situations like this, that might be why. Is 20 grams a lot of protein? For a snack bar, yeah, it's a pretty good amount. A lot of like a Snickers bar, I think, has like 7 grams of protein. So, it's mostly sugar for your 200 calorie content, as opposed to a protein bar being more protein based than sugar based. Kick combo, barrier, Lana Dobreed. Yeah, there's enough dark side card options available to Charlie. He's only got 4 cards in hand here. He is getting extra activations. Now he's up to 21 with Vane here. Just giving Mara a little backup. So there's the battle in space. Here comes the Finn for the react. And there's the Lana Dobreed to cancel it. Good call there, Hayes. I always forget that card has so many functions on it. Sometimes I forget that one of them is also canceling a react. There's like 4 things that card does. Useful things. Preventing guys from getting theirs forfeit reduced. Canceling disarmed. And then right in here is the cancel a react. And then you've got the whole thing about moving during the move phase as well. So Finn gets booted, which means no defensive interrupt. And if he doesn't have the punch it either, Tarkin's going to add a Battle Destiny here. So he's drawing 3, and if he draws low on 2 of them, he's got the options to redraw them between Tarkin and the 2 dominations in play. This could be bad for Eric. It might have been more a bit wiser of him. Ouch. Um, to just eat that drain of 2 for a turn. There's 9. He's going to subtract 1 to keep it at 8. He's going to try to only have to lose the 2 pilots here. They cover 14 and forfeit. And with Ralops not being flipped, now he's wondering if he wants to waste his Cure Canos to cancel that. He would have to draw another 5. Actually, he would have to draw a 6 to beat the 14. He's at 9. He could exchange for the prepared defenses. Nope, he's going to throw the Grand Inquisitor away to get Thrawn back into hand. And there's the Gick, which he can redraw with Tarkin. And he can take Tarkin into hand with that domination to redraw if he so chooses. Depending on what he has designed for that last destiny. Right now he's got a total of 8. He's going to clear both pilots off the Falcon. Obviously, we know Eric has a second ray because he drew her for Destiny last turn. So he can put some guys right back on the Falcon. Solo's already on the ground as well. He is going to take Tarkin and do the redraw. And it is another 5. So that gets him to 13. If he had canceled he would have had to cancel they're tracking us to get him to 14 and then exchange for the prepared defenses to add 1 to get him to 15 to clear everything. That's a lot of resources to commit to getting rid of the ship too. I think Charlie's just going to be happy here to get out of this battle, losing. Well, first off, he's going to get to retrieve some Imperials, but he's going to lose probably just the shuttle, Vader shuttle here, and then he's going to clear both pilots out. You guys in chat went awfully quiet. There's 10 of you watching. No comments, no concerns, criticisms, feedback. You guys are just letting Hayes dictate the show. He retrieves the Grand Inquisitor and Emperor Palpatine. He took Tarkin into hand. He could have forfeited Tarkin here as well because he could just redeploy him next turn. But instead he's going to lose the shuttle. And then he moves Ozzel over and draws a couple cards. Alright, looking at life force counts here. 26 to 31. Eric also has 3 more cards in hand, so he's certainly has less cards on the table, less effects, and we're about 40% of the way through their timers. They each have a 50-minute timer. No extensions allowed. So they'll have to pick up the pace a little bit here if they actually want to finish the game. Because I got to be honest, I don't know what the exact timeout rules are for the playoffs. I'd have to go look them up. Hey, there we go. You're all texting instead. Yeah, I assumed as much. You guys are all in like the Slack chat, just texting away and stuff in there. I would have tried to get rid of the Falcon, so why did no one else play Robson top 8 at Worlds? Seems good against OA. Eric needs a good turn, but knowing Gick is active is good information. Definitely agree with that, knowing that unless Charlie's playing 2, Seems unlikely. Um, but unless he's playing 2, this Lieutenant Commander Arden seems a wee bit vulnerable. We know Eric already took Chewie into hand, and we know he doesn't have the Gick because he drew it as one of his battle destinies. And Tarkin doesn't take into hand to cause a redraw. You just cancel it and redraw. So there could be an opportunity here. And yes, as my co-host points out, he did use the Lana Dobry to cancel the Finn react, so he doesn't have that as well to protect the forfeit. So maybe he's got a second Gick, maybe he's got a second masterful move. Not sure, but this, yeah, Captain Hera's coming down, and I'm sure we're going to see Chewie come down as well. That'll be forfeit 0, 2 battle destiny, and this could get ugly quick. Eric's thinking, does he need more? And the answer is yes. Yes, he does. So he's going to add Finn for 4 more power and basically just try and go for the game right here. He'll retrieve 1 with Leia, put 1 more card back in his deck. Chewie should hit. It's pretty unlikely he's going to miss here. His only ability 3. Hey, they're tracking us. Yep, that'll do it. He wasn't tracking it. Yeah. Arden's hit. He's got 2 battle destiny here. He's already up by 12. Yeah, if Charlie doesn't have a second Gick or a masterful move in his hand, he's going to be peeling a lot of cards here. And then it'll just be, what can he do for 2 or 3 turns to make Eric lose a couple extra cards just to get the life force down to something he can try for game number 2. So we've got a total of 8, so he's 22 to 2. So right now, Charlie's down by 20. He blind draws the 6, which is certainly helpful. Well, I mean, it's not really blind. It's one of the cards he retrieved with Domination last turn. So he draws the 6 for Battle Destiny, and he's going to exchange a card. He's going to get the Prepared Defenses back. He's going to add 1 to make it a 7. That'll mean he's only peeling 13 cards potentially, but it also means all these guys are forfeit 6, so 2 of them are going to have to die. It'll be Finn and probably Chewie. Hera would at least draw Destiny against anybody else. He'll lose Finn. Eric will lose Finn first, I'm sure. $13 is still a lot if he's got to peel 13, but it doesn't end the game right here. It'll at least keep him around. He does have a second Gick. Okay, he's playing 1 of each. Look at that. Well played, sir. That's a nice little slow roll there. If he eats damage here, canceling the react was a bad play. Yes, I would certainly agree with that because he knew Eric had Chewie in hand, right? Yep. You would have figured he must have had something up his sleeve. Otherwise, leaving Arden just hung out to dry there like that didn't seem right, but it was a good play by Charlie. He got Eric to commit considerable forces to the ground. Chewie and Finn are both gone now. And now Hera's the one looking a little vulnerable by herself. And I'm sure now there's a possibility of Eric moving Dash. He can move Dash over to back Hera up so she's not isolated and vulnerable either. Could also be considering using Walkling here to get Chewie back, who you might need later. And he consolidates them both at the docking bay in front of Piet and Desan. Charlie's got 4 cards in hand, and he's using Vane's text to go get Vader. Charlie could flip back again. It'd be hard, but he'd end up doing it at the end of the battle phase. He deploys guys here and here, battles here. Mara hits Solo, and if he draws high enough to kill Leia, clear them both out, then he controls 1, 2, 3. Emperor's Enforcer. So we've got a Vader. He could just go for his own overflow. You can cancel Han's game text to keep him from playing anything from the lost pile. There's not really much in there. But you just have an extra 6 power. 2 to swing. The Gick did get grabbed, by the way. Blue 11 and Rogue One. Okay, so we did have the Rogue One that Radis could pull. That was his upload option. Interesting line staying in front of Mara, aka risky. Yeah, this is certainly a risky play. We'd like to think Eric has the Hujix in hand, but not taking battle damage is one thing, but losing more key characters. We've already got a Rey in the lost pile, Solo, Calrissian in the lost pile. Now we've got Chewie and Finn. If he loses Solo and Leia, we know he's got a second Leia and a second Rey floating through. Does he have a second Chewie? Does he have a second Solo? He might have an extra copy of one of them, but probably not both. And Poe's already committed to the table. Kind of running a little thin for Eric on strong characters. He's got some good support characters, but he's running out of his stronger characters. And that is what Rops does very well in terms of chewing through stuff. Because of this, especially when you have the double domination. Double's overkill. You really only need one. But just cycling your guys back and drawing guys for Destiny, and yeah. You exchange a Destiny 6 Emperor to get a guy back, then you win the battle, and then you use Domination and retrieve your Destiny 6 Emperor, and then set it up for the next battle or whatnot. He's got 5 cards in hand. We know one of them is Vader. And we know one of them is Tarkin, because that's what he exchanged in the previous space battle. Yep, looks like he's going to go for the... I think he's got Thrawn as well. He exchanged for Thrawn, too. So we know he's got Thrawn. Tarkin's already on table, but he could exchange Tarkin to get somebody out of the lost pile. And then just retrieve Tarkin. He can get Arden back, or... He already retrieved the Grand Inquisitor, I believe, so he's not floating in there available anymore either. Thrawn and the Death Trooper. Yeah. What is Vader doing over there? Vader's going for the overflow would be my guess, Bastion. He's going to try and hit Solo, and he's going to try and overflow Leia. And either force Eric to play his Hujix. And there's the Death Trooper. So he'll use the Death Trooper to help him flip, and then the Death Trooper will use the Streets text and likely move over here. Yeah. Mara should hit solo. Certainly the much... Hey, Colonel David. Devoed. He'll do an exchange. Alright, cancel and redraw, take him into hand. I'm sure he would have preferred to draw the 6 for Battle Destiny, but I'm also thinking he may know the card underneath it as well. And we get a leadership to add a second Battle Destiny. Barrier's already been grabbed, so leadership will go through. That should prevent any chance of overflow. Thrawn should have gone to the prefect's office. Because if you have an Imperial leader here, Imperials are power and forfeit +1. Yes, that actually would be a very very efficient use of that. Put Thrawn, flip these guys. Put Thrawn here instead. Add 4 more power in this battle, and kind of guarantee yourself or increase your possibility of doing some overflow. Because Leia, you're 16 to 8. You hit him, Leia covers the 8. So it's really just the difference between your 2 Battle Destiny draws. So what does that get? Maybe 1 or 2 cards. But if you have it the other way, you've got 4 more power. So you're already up 4. So then you're kind of already into that Hujix territory. That's definitely a good call there by the chat. Oh, Mr. Worfs started that. Yep. Who is also a skilled Ral Ops player. He draws a 3. And he's going to make an exchange here. He's going to exchange the Tarkin to get back the Arden. Get a character he can actually use and deploy, as opposed to one that's already on the table. Eric shuffled his deck. I guess he wasn't thrilled with what was sitting near the top. And he draws 7 for his total. That will get rid of Mara. Is Eric considering the... He did retrieve the heading to the medical frigate a couple turns ago. Does he have it back in hand? Looks like it's paused here, giving him an option, like there's an action he can take. I guess he's wondering whether he wanted to add one or not. And now Charlie wins the battle, and now he'll use his dominations and he'll retrieve Tarkin. This game's starting to turn back in the favor of Ral Ops. They were in a little bit of trouble 2 turns ago, but this, I guess we'll call this a mistake, I think, moving in front of the shuttle. Maybe not anticipating the Kyrkanos to cancel there. Obviously, you gotta expect the react from Finn, and would assume your opponent has a way to address it, and then the additional option of the key interrupt then being canceled as well. Oh, there goes the heading for medical frigate off the top. Interesting. Because the total was only a 3, Leia was immune. Leia doesn't have to die, and he just eats some overflow. He only had 4 battle damage to take there because of the 2 draws being a 7. That worked out quite a bit better than I think Charlie had certainly than Charlie had expected to. It worked out very well for Eric to stick around. He does prevent the flip again, and now these guys are going to shuffle around Raltier here. And then Charlie can pick up some cards, kind of reload his hand a little bit. We're about the halfway point in terms of both of them with their gem timers. Turn 5 seems about right. You get about 10, 11 turns in one of these long drawn out games. Charlie's sitting on 21. Eric's sitting on 27. Yep, nothing reserved to upload for the flip. Yeah, that 4 extra power would have made the difference. Right, because then instead of peeling 4 cards to keep Leia alive, he'd have to peel 8, and that's pretty pricey. So you're more likely to have to pitch Leia in that situation. Highly unlikely he's going to peel 8 cards to keep her alive. Maybe, I guess, if he feels like that's his only course of action, but it's a very expensive course of action. All right, there's the Tantive. So Eric's going to get back into space with the Tantive. That also is going to help block the flip by controlling the system. We already saw Charlie lose the shuttle earlier. He's running EPP Mara, so probably doesn't have the Mara in ship, splashable ships. You have to wonder what else he's got, if any, other ships. He might run one of each. He might have Mara ship and EPP Mara, and just depending on where he needs one more. Certainly, EPP Mara, the Mara and ship is a pretty good card for this platform because you have plenty of Imperial pilots, so you get the 2 battle destiny pretty quickly, and then adding potentially to your total can really do some damage very efficiently. But with Vader's shuttle gone and the Emperor shuttle firmly entrenched at Jakku, and then he's just going to shove some people around, shuttling Hera up, likely giving him 2 battle destiny against whatever Darkseid puts down. And Leia's going to slide away from this power here to just be in front of these guys. Forfeit 10. +3 from code clearance, +1 from prefect's office. Pretty silly. Yeah, Eric's going to reload his hand here as well, drawing 7 or 8 cards to get himself back up over 12 now. Life force counts. Charlie's got 18, 21, 29 total, and Eric's got 18, 13, 31 total. So they're still pretty close to even. But Charlie's got more stuff in play on the table. He's got 4 battlegrounds occupied. Light side's 3, so his dominations are still working. And he's got a lot fewer cards in the lost pile as well. Coming up on 20 minutes left on Charlie's timer here. Eric's got a 3-minute head start on him, so Eric also seems to be a faster player, I think. I'd be surprised if Eric really had to take any lengthy decisions. Eric's joking in the chat that at least Charlie's almost out of guys. He's got 10 sitting on the table currently. And Mara's over in the lost pile, but there should still be a few more available to him. Grand Inquisitor was retrieved previously. Lieutenant Commander Arden was exchanged for, so we know he's got Arden in hand. And there is the 1 sense. And it gets altered. Look at that, an old-fashioned sense alter battle. And that's not even alter V. That's just, yeah. That's old school premier alter. It's not even the one to get around the force loss. Wow. I don't know if that's on purpose. Probably. Or just an accidental click when building a deck, but we'll say it's on purpose. And yeah, old school sack war. Oh, let's see what my co-host has to say. Yes, on purpose. I'm sure there's a valid argument to be made for that. Sometimes you just don't care about the force loss. Now, this is the advantage that Charlie has had the last couple turns as well, is the ability to do little bits of damage through force drains. He's had the drain of 2 at Jakku for 2 turns, and at least a drain on the ground somewhere for a turn or 2. You know, as he's kind of spread out a little bit. So he's been doing 2 to 3 extra little points of damage. And there goes the second solo, which is going to get Walkling back. Hunt down is not a thing, so yes, that obviously makes sense there. Talking about the altar, better for it to go used naturally against map or anything that plays Tarkin's bounty, etc. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure there was a valid argument to make for playing that version over the virtual one. The only advantage of the virtual one, you know, obviously yes, you've got the hunt down protection, but hunt down's pretty flimsy right now, and Old Allies pretty much beats that deck handily anyway. So it would just be for anyone playing There Is No Try to stop the force loss. But again, against Old Allies, it's probably not a shield you're going to want to pull. Yeah. So he plays the It's a Hit to cancel the drain at one of the sites, and then top decks and escape or throws away an escape pod were doomed from hand to the drain at the other site. And now we're going to get another pile of guys going after Leia. Really going to try and get her off the table and see if he can't force out the Hujiks. And there's Binder. Okay, so he does have one more ship. And that's a pretty good one, too. Binder makes it cost more to move away and lets you react and stuff to it. It's a very strong ship. Oops. I hate when that happens. Alright, so Leia's going to add a Destiny to power with the female interrupt. We're going to look at these both cards real quick. So Binder, ships may move to here as a react, so the shuttle can stay there and move over as a react if necessary. And for opponent to move a ship away, cost +1 force. Created by Casper and Christian. Look at that. So we get I Think I Can Handle Myself, which you've got a female character defending alone. She adds a Destiny to power. And then he tacks on a leadership on top of it to add a second battle Destiny. It's a Ray for the Destiny to power, so that's only a Destiny 1. Charlie draws an EPP Vader for his battle Destiny, which is just a 1. Now he's thinking about, does he want to exchange any of the 3 cards in hand for what's in his lost pile? And he's going to say no, because he does not want the sense back that badly. And we'll see what Eric can draw here. Is he going to draw Cassian and Rose again to get that 7? Oh, quite a mercenary. Quite a mercenary. It's the non-V1 too that stops Ellis. Brutally stops Ellis in certain cases. He's going to subtract 1 from it to give him a total of 6. That'll get him to 11. Leia covers 8, so he will lose a card, but just as importantly, Darkseid wins another battle. I don't know if who he's got left in there to retrieve. There's got to be somebody. Whoever he lost, Mara, whoever he lost the previous battle, he can get her back. I don't know if he's got anybody else. Further down. Leia is immune to that Destiny of 1, but he'd have to peel 9 cards now to stop the flip. And with only 22 left down, I don't know that that's an option for Eric. Charlie's got to lose somebody here to cover 6. Take your pick. Lieutenant Commander Arden. There you go. He covers 6. Leia dies. 1 battle damage to Eric. And as soon as he figures out what card he wants to lose, then Charlie will flip. He has no reserve deck, so he doesn't have anything to upload. But he will be, and I'm sure he'll shuttle somebody up. Dasan is here, so he can shuttle from this site. Shuttle landing and taking off to her sim site is free. Yeah, shuttling landing. So yeah, so he can shuttle any of these guys up to the binder. Whether it's just Piet or Krennic, he shuttles himself up first, and then I'll bring one of these guys. Probably Piet. He's got the higher forfeit. Yep. Oh, Piet's going to move over. Never mind. So Piet moves over, blocks the flip. Blocks this site, so he can flip now with controlling 3. Again, no card to upload. Sorry, got the timing wrong on that. And using the Spaceport Streets text to move people around for free. This is another card that I've always thought was ridiculously undercosted. When you had just a bunch of crappy operatives, okay, sure. But when you're playing with Ral Ops with this site, it's ridiculous bouncing multiple characters all over the place for free. I would love to see this card errated. And the Cloud City North Corridor, or Upper Plaza Corridor as well. Change them both. Stop making everybody move for free. Once per turn, move a guy for free, or just take that text off completely. And now we'll get a whole pile of people in some places. So we've got Osel moved up, Dasan moved up, the Death Trooper moved up. I guess just 3 extra forfeit, or 4 extra forfeit. Sorry, because he's getting a +1 from this, because this is at same and related. This is same and related sites. So what are you getting a forfeit bump for? Oh, never mind, you're just a 4. I'm used to troopers being 3s. I should learn how to read. And then he spreads to 3, so he's covering 4 sites now, and it's just locations they occupy. So his battle destiny is +5 right now. And Charlie seems to have a pretty good control of the board at this point. Technically, Eric is still ahead on Life Force, though. It's 28 to 25 in his favor. As we are about 2/3 of the way through their timers. Eric is currently threatening no damage, though. He's got no place to drain and no real place to move to. He can move the Tandem to Fondor. Eric's got 6 cards left in hand, and we've seen a number of his stronger characters already dealt with. And like we just said, he's adding 5 to his total by being flipped. So, and with Thrawn here adding to power and forfeit in places, I mean, Vane looks like he's pretty vulnerable here. He's like, he's power 3, but he's forfeiting for 5 because of the extra forfeit. So that covers 8. He's getting +5 to the battle destiny. So he's up to 13 plus whatever he draws. And if he draws a character, he can redraw it with the domination. So even somebody as flimsy as a power 3 Vane is still covering 16, 17 realistically. So I don't see Eric having a line of play that gets him any overflow in any of these situations. And now he's got to be looking to himself thinking, what else can I do here? Well, he's just going to keep attacking Ralt here. It would be interesting if that's the character he has in hand. My co-host here did just point out that if he has Rey and he times it right, he can deploy Rey, do a use pile search, and pull Cassian, and then use Cassian to cancel the battle destiny. And that would negate quite a bit of the extra bonus there. And Lightside would have, 12 power plus a destiny plus Rey adding 1 to just Vane's little 3. And yeah, he did point out also as well, but notice how Charlie saved 2 force, which is exactly what he would need to play the other Gick because of the grab. So, in-depth analysis from Mr. Hayes Hunter. There's Rey. So he spends some extra force first, just to try and maximize his opportunities. He's got 11 cards to look from here. Cassian canceled the Destiny would stop the exchange as well. Yes, that is also true. There is Cassian. So we've got 11 to 3. Vane forfeits for 5. So it's 11 to 8 plus a light side Destiny draw, at least one, if not two, with another leadership. He does have two cards left in the reserve deck. We don't see close call played quite as often in these Imperial decks as much anymore. Rescue's just too popular to cancel it. Eric will retrieve a force with Leia for initiating a battle. Charlie's going to shuffle his deck, looking for a Force Lightning. And Eric's going to get a peek at those 21 cards, and he'll know right now whether or not the Gick is in the reserve deck, or if it's one of the other 4 unknown cards. Looks like you have the Gick. That's what he's saying. If he's got the Gick, Eric's in a really rough spot. But once again, it seems like it's the only reason Charlie would have spread quite as much as he did and left the 2 force. He draws an Admiral Mahdi. It's almost like it's not worth canceling, but you might as well. Make sure you get to keep all 3 of your guys around. And again, stop him from doing the exchange or the redraw. If you don't cancel it, he can redraw it, obviously, with domination. So you have to cancel it there, but it just feels like it's a waste of an ability. It's just such a crappy Destiny. And there's Gick number 2. One card left in hand for Charlie. If you're Eric, you probably have to shuttle somebody up to the Tantive, because or use 2 force to move it away. And then you've got to probably move Dash over in front of Thrawn, I would guess. Seems like the only place to put him. Vader can just cancel his text, and then Poe's kind of screwed. And 14 power and pretty ridiculous forfeit values. It's highly unlikely you're getting through more than one guy here, and you risk losing your own. So it would seem like this has to move over here. Yep. Up to 22 people watching. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us on this lovely Saturday afternoon. Oh, maybe not. We're getting a revert request. See how far back he's trying to go and whether or not Carlandson will allow him to do it. Yep, he's going to just go back to the move there. He can move somebody over. He's moving the other way. Okay. He's just going to consolidate everybody at the street. So his other option would be to slide somebody over here with them just to soak up as forfeit fodder, but when you're kind of running out of characters, you don't really want anybody being lost. But now he's got drains of 1, 1, 1, and 2. So Eric's going to lose 5 cards right here. Yeah, Justin, we were commenting on him running the one of each Gick. Alright, he loses an altar. He loses a Bith Shuffle combo. He's going to lose a Padme. The rescue should be coming up that he drew for Destiny should be coming up pretty soon. There's Rose. I think this should be that if he goes off the top here, right? Yep, there's the rescue. Which should put the Rebel flight suit on top, so he still has a nice solid Destiny on top if he needs it, but and Charlie's got one card left in hand, but it's probably a character. He's going to force drain for 0 Raltier just because he can, I guess. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're Charlie, you're almost wanting to just be like, all right, go kill Lor Santika if you can, and then say go. You know, take drains of 1 and 1, and then you can battle later and retrieve some of it with domination the turn after, while you just keep doing your 5 damage, because you don't want to keep taking too much time chasing stuff around and wasting time on actions, and risk running out of time. You'd almost rather just, yeah, maybe you lose a couple of differential, but you guarantee that you get the game finished. Is it just your list? No idea. I don't know where Charlie got the list he's using. Whether he took your list from day 1 of Worlds. Any tweaks or adjustments he may have made to it. Couldn't tell you. And we're going right to move phase. Yep. Hayes is saying it's heavily inspired by Justin's list, maybe up to 3 cards different. Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff on the table and drawn for Destinies and whatnot, so you could certainly match up the lists and compare what we've seen and what we know. He opts to land the Emperor's shuttle. And the Emperor and friends are going to get out. And then what? Move the Emperor over to the other site, and then move the binder. Yep. Because you're not going to want to pay for all these drains. Yep, move binder over. Now he's just trying to speed up his damage output. But he did lower his total Battle Destiny edition to only 3 now. Not sure that Eric has too many places left to battle here, or too many cards left to battle with, but yeah, they're certainly trying to increase his damage output now that he's down to coming up on 12 minutes left on their game timer. So really wants to make sure he gets all the damage in and gets the game finished to get the full differential counts. Hayes is helping Charlie. I'm confused. Now, Hayes is just texting me every 5 seconds because he doesn't have a Twitch account, so he can't comment in the Twitch stream chat. So he just texts me everything. And I'm guessing he's just so well versed in the top players' deck lists that he can clearly identify any variance between the deck lists. And this apparently looks very familiar to your list, Justin. Imp domination list build themselves. Well, yeah, that's true. If he lands the shuttle, can he react up to binder? I don't believe so. I don't believe taking off is one of the permitted forms of movement as a react. You have to check the AR on that, but I'm fairly confident that that is not a permitted react movement type. And he'll bring down Ozzel and the Trooper as well. He is likely to get flipped back here. Charlie would just have to, Eric would just have to just move the Tanev back to Raltier, and that would flip him back. Um, but that's a move phase situation, and that still would allow Charlie to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage potentially. I mean, these guys could shuffle in front of some people after he moves over and controls and flips. Um, so you're blocking a couple of these, but you're still eating upwards of 2, 4, 6 at these locations. And I don't know what's going to end up potentially happening here. There goes a dark collaboration from the force pile. This is cancels Rebel Barrier. Occasionally you get the other bonus text of Tarkin being in a battle with Mahdi to add 2 Destiny. I don't think they run the general. He's just a inappropriately costed card. Ooh, interesting. Anakin to the Falcon. Oh, there's a Imperial Barrier for Anakin. Landing and taking off is a valid react according to page C14 of the AR. Okay, there you go. Thank you for checking that, Hayes. So there you go. Code clearance. Get at it. Yeah. So Anakin gets barriered. That'll stop him from battling with the Falcon. See if he has anybody else left. Unlikely. We've seen just about all the characters. He did retrieve that solo earlier. So he does still have a second solo. And there's a Jin. Okay. Well, looks like he did not hit the appropriate button. And I believe he may want her to be undercover. And Eric is going to try and revert and immediately says, wait. And we'll see if Charlie does the right thing and lets him fix that, because that's a pretty, yeah, pretty clear-cut situation. All right, so Jin is going to go undercover to the shuttle's site and block that. Okay. I don't know, somewhere, wherever she was going, she was blocking Adrena too. I guess on the off chance he's got a Force Lightning, you don't want to put him in front of the Emperor. Yep, move over, flip back. Option B would have been to put it Jin over here and then move Lor Santika over. So there's the flip back. Yep. Dash moves over there to block Thrawn. Now that he's flipped and less likely to draw 5s. Rey moves in front of Vader, whose game text cannot be canceled in this situation. And does he want to leave the Falcon there, move the Falcon, land the Falcon? He could land the Falcon and move Lor Santika over to the Falcon. He can move the Falcon to Fondor and move Lor Santika away. He could leave Lor Santika there. He's got a couple options here. Nope, he's going to leave Lors Antica and just draw. So I guess we're really thinking Eric's had that Hoojix for a while and just hasn't had to play it yet. Binder movement cost. Yeah, moving the Falcon away would be a problem, but it takes off and lands for free at one of these sites, doesn't it? At this site. Starfighters take off and land for free. You don't want to go there. That's bad. So yeah, so Binder would be a problem landing at the other site. Yep. No, Anakin could not get out if he moved because Anakin got barriered. He could flip it to a vehicle. I don't know. Either way, they all seem... None of them seem like good options. It's just a matter of what's the least offensive one. And I guess just staying here and blocking a drain at 2 and being able to just draw a card or so. But he's going to get hit for only 3 damage, though. 1, 2, 3, because he's blocked, blocked, blocked. There goes the flight suit from hand. There goes an extra ray off the top. And there goes Corrin Horn as well. And we've got an EPP Mara come back, making her second appearance to the spaceport city. Highly likely Ray gets hit here. That forces out the Hoojix. And then Lors Antica gets battled. There's that sniper again. He's drawn that thing for Weapon Destiny twice now. Oh, and a Blizzard 4. Okay. So that'll hit Ray. He doesn't have the female interrupt to cancel it. He used that earlier with Leia and really hasn't drawn money cards since then to get it back. Battle Destiny is a 4. No bonus, no modifiers, no exchange. Light Side also draws a 4, which becomes a 5. Let's see if he's got anybody in the lost pile to retrieve because he wins the battle here. Yeah, it looks like he's got somebody in there because there's at least a valid target, so he gets to retrieve Vane. And he's got a second guy in there to get back. Is Arden around somewhere? Yep, there's Arden. Yep. Now Mara dies. Ray dies. And there's the Hoojix. No need to grab it because Solo is not on the table, so he can't play it out of the lost pile again because Hoojix is not unique. And then we'll get the battle over here against Lors Antica. And there's a big 6. Subtracts 1 with their tracking. Let's make it a 5. That gets him to 11. He covers 5, so he's got to draw a 5 to prevent overflow. Ouch. And he subtracts 1 with the dark time to basically make that a 0. Charlie wins the battle. He'll retrieve Mara with the domination. And he's just going to run his diff up a little bit more here. It's going to be Lor Santika and 5 overflow. The Emperor moves back over. He's going to put everybody back in the shuttle and take back off. Oh, also, I stand by my stand corrected on my earlier point that Eric had about a 3-minute lead on his timer, that he would be okay, but Charlie has passed him by 15 seconds now, so or 10 seconds now. So I guess Eric had some tougher decisions than I thought he would have. CRG points out that he's got no force left to move Jin away, so he didn't necessarily need to move to this site. Could have left the Emperor here to drain, but if he wasn't going to take off with the shuttle, he could have left it here to do the drain at 2. And Kirkanos is going to take a step over. He's 5 power and 7 forfeit, so he covers 12. And Eric's got 7 cards left, so that doesn't seem too risky. Now Charlie's just trying to block some damage here. So he takes as little damage as possible. He'll get drained from 1 at Raltier, pitch 1 of these 2 cards, and call it a day. Alright, so Charlie's got 23, Eric's got 7. He gets a drain at Raltier. He's got plenty of forfeit at both ground locations. Jin's not going to do much damage to the Emperor. Charlie top decks a card. He must really like the 2 cards he has in his hand. Doesn't want to risk any surprises at this point. He wants to just take a comfortable 20-point win and move on to game number 2. And Eric's got to be thinking, is there any additional ways that he can drag the game out another turn? Can he do any bit more damage anywhere? Hayes pointing out that the first 2 cards Eric lost to the first drain were included Wedge. So not having the ability to cancel destinies certainly changed things in this game, and I would agree with that assessment. Wedge canceling destinies means no exchanging, and you certainly have options with also means no additional things like that. There's several rogue pilots in here. You got Corn Horn floating around. You had Rogue One, which Radis could pull. They both got lost fairly early as well. So anybody piloting that counts as a rogue pilot also. Or anybody on the speeder here with Dash, Wedge with Poe, etc. So plenty of guys with Wedge to cancel some stuff, which could certainly have had an impact on the game. So Eric retrieved 1 for initiating the battle with Leia. Charlie played the imbalance Kit and Strider combo to make him lose a force. He pitched Finn from hand. He draws 2 Battle Destiny for a total of 8. Charlie draws a 5, which is enough to get rid of Poe. The 8 will get rid of Piet because he forfeits for 10. Now the question is, does Eric just suicide himself to stop Charlie from retrieving any more guys? I mean, he can't now because now he's going to win the battle. Or is domination only on your turn? During battle? Nope. You can do it anytime. So if he, let's say if he just suicided himself here just to lose, peel these cards off the, top of the deck or whatever, and then draw the remaining ones, would it have been enough to kill him? But he can still retrieve a guy for winning the battle with domination. So he can still get 1 or 2 more cards back. And I'm sure that's what we'll see here from Charlie. Eric's got 9 left. He's losing 2, 4, 5, 6. That'll take him down to just 3 cards left. And then I'm sure Charlie will just look for an opportunity to battle to retrieve a guy. And if he only has 1 guy in his lost pile, he could get really crazy, battle with Kirkanos first, lose this battle, and dump him. But then he's just going to eat a drain next turn. He deploys the Executor. Alright, so that was the other card he's been holding in his hand for quite a long time here. He's going to drop the Executor. No battle. He's just going to move in front of everybody and block. And call it a day. Eric's got no force drain potentials available now. Everything's blocked off. And I guess this will do it. And Charlie will pick up a win by 23, it looks like. And as they both get down to under 5 minutes, or under 6 minutes here on their timers. I don't know if we'll see Eric just draw these last 2 and call it a day. Yeah, he's just going to draw. He's not going to battle anywhere and let Charlie retrieve another character. So he's just going to call it a day. So Charlie Carlandson, Dark Side, plus 23 is your outcome. Very well played game. Very interesting matchup. Lots of things to talk about. So thanks to both players for playing a well played game here. Obviously, every Star Wars game always has some moves that it was debatable, and certainly moving the Falcon in front of Jakku early may have set Eric back more than he already was at that point. So. We'll find out when game number 2 is going to be. I'll see if we have anything else coming up today on the old PC forums here. I don't think there's any more games that we've announced that are scheduled for today, but all of those games, this playoff matches and prediction contest, Fred here, we are keeping track of everything. So we'll update this. Game 1, Eric versus Charlie. This was Charlie Darkside plus 23, and in about 10 minutes I'll move the YouTube link into that field as well once I export the video from Twitch to YouTube. I don't know when Werps and I are playing game 2 yet. We don't have a Chris Kelly Batmouse game scheduled yet. Ryan's playing tonight. That game is this evening. It'll be after midnight on the East Coast. Ryan and Bastion will be very early Sunday morning for Bastion. It'll be Saturday evening still for Ryan. So that's the game going on later this evening. Game 2 of that. Ryan won the first with his Dark Side by 13. Bastion will play Dark Side tonight and try and recoup that And Ryan will try and find a way to stop. I'm going to say he's going to try and find a way to stop Bastion playing Rops and winning by 13. And then we've got some games coming up this week. Monday, we've got Tom and Gavin playing game 1, and game 2 will be on Tuesday. We don't have a Shaw Brenton game scheduled yet. Baroni Olson is set for Wednesday morning. Tom Kelly will be streaming that game for us, and he will also be doing this game with Silver Glen and Adam Trunzo, which is next Friday. So there's the schedule. That's what's going on. The person streaming it is also in parentheses, so you guys know who you can look forward to listening to. And that's what we got coming up. So stay tuned. We're going to sign off now, and you've got game 2 between Bastion and Ryan this evening, with Dan Tartaglione back streaming that one as well. And thank you guys very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.